Hello, I'm Amanda Fowler of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room and welcome to my first project for the Triple Treat card making group. So thank you so much for joining me. In today's video I'm going to be sharing with you a never-ending card. It's actually inside this envelope. I will show it to you in a second, but first up I'm going to show you the products that I have used to make the card, and actually the gift bag that I'm going to be sharing with you in the second video. So I'll just put that to one side for now. So in the spring, summer or occasions catalogue, there is the Happiness Blooms suite, and I am really excited. I'm trying to hold these and they're going to ping everywhere. You will get to see all these things close up. But we have a set of 4 punches. Now there are 3 flower punches, tiny little flower punches, and then 1 punch which is actually the centre of the flower and a leaf. I love punches. They're probably one of my favourite things after stamps. So I'm really excited to see these. And do you know what? For me, I often make a little mistake on a card. And sometimes, you get like a little bit of ink or something on the card, pop a flower over the top of it, nobody will ever know. So that's my tip. So you need the punches. You also need these, which are the Happiness Blooms enamel dots. Now this is actually a photograph of them because that's all I've got left. I'll show you of the pack. I've actually got some more coming. But these are fabulous. You're going to love these. Beautiful colours, really pretty. Then there is this Calypso Coral satin ribbon. It ties bows like a dream. It's beautiful. And then the last product is this, which is the Happiness Blooms Designer Series paper. So with all Stampin' Up papers, it's double-sided. It's a great quality of paper. That's my test. If it makes a good sound like that, it's a really good test. So I'm just going to quickly show you the patterns. We've got lovely lipstick in here, Calypso Coral, Night of Navy, Call Me Clover. I'm not sure which of the yellows it is, but it's really pretty. And then this one. Okay. So, and you're going to need some glue dots as well. So if you purchase all of those items, that will get you a free celebration set. Now the free celebration set that I've chosen to be working with is this one. It's called Hello Cupcake, and it's so pretty. It's got like a scribbled design. You can colour it in, you can emboss it, you can just stamp it onto coloured cardstock. It's really lovely, and it's really easy to cut out as well. So a really great stamp set. So that's the one that I've chosen to use. But, it's celebration, and you might think, well, maybe I'll add a few extra bits and get a second set. So you could add the Bloom by Bloom stamp set, which goes with these little tiny punches and the paper. And obviously if you buy the punches and the stamp set at the same time, you'll get it at 10% off because it's a bundled price. I'm also going to be using the envelope punch board. So if you haven't got one of these, add that to your order too. It's brilliant, not only for envelopes. And of course, a trimmer. Trimmers are really important. And I love this because I can cut and score at the same time. You'll see on the card that I use a variety of punches as well, many of which I'm sure you will already have in your stash, but if not, you could always add those to an order too. So if you were going to get like a double celebration set, you might like to add this to your order. Okay, so this is Grapefruit Grove and Lovely Lipstick, and they're foil sheets, and you get 8 sheets in total, 4 of each. So this Grapefruit Grove is like iridescent. so pretty. And then this lovely lipstick is kind of like a matte, I want to say it's like a matte finish, but it's shiny. It's really stunning. So 8 sheets of foil. Normally our normal packs you only get 2 sheets of foil, so that is really brilliant. But the Celebration selections this year are fab. You are going to want multiples. So let me move some of this out of the way, actually, and let me show you the card. So this is a 6x6 envelope, which I will be showing you how you're going to make in a minute. Because I've used patterned paper, I've put a piece of Whisper White on the front, so you've got somewhere to write and to put your stamp in, and so on. And then this is the Never Ending card. So it does, I don't want you to think that you can't stand it up like an ordinary card. You can, but the magic is in the movement of the card. So you can open it up like this, and then like this, and then like this, and like this, and like this. And it's one of those things that you are not going to want to stop fiddling around with. It's brilliant. It's one of those things that you think, oh, that'd be great for kids or teenagers, but actually it's great for everybody, because the second you start playing with it, you just don't want to stop. So I am going to teach you how to make the basic card, and I'm going to walk you through some of the elements that I've decorated it with. I'm not going to take you step by step through every single decoration, basically because the video would be way too long and you need to spend a bit more time doing crafting. So if you've got any questions, then just let me know. But I am hopeful that you'll be able to understand everything that I've said. I'm going to be working in inches, and I will put the measurements up on the video screen as well. So if you don't get a chance to write it down as I'm going, just pause the screen and you'll be able to see them on there as well. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let's get crafting. So here is a close-up of the envelope. I am going to be walking you through how to make this, and also this is the Never Ending card. Now I know I showed it to you when I was doing the face front part of the video, but I just want to show you here where it's a bit more close up. So the card opens like this, and then it opens again and again and again, and we're back to the beginning. Now each layer here has different patterned paper on, so there's quite a lot of cutting and preparation, but the card itself is really quite straightforward to make, so please don't look at it and think it's going to be complicated. It is straightforward, but just take it step by step. All of the cutting measurements and things I'll put on the screen, so don't worry if you miss them when I'm telling you what they are. You'll be able to screenshot them or write them down if you just pause the video. So I'm going to start with the envelope. Now this card measures 6 inches square. So I'm going to get my envelope punch board out, and if you haven't got one of these yet, you absolutely need one. And I'm going to run down here, and there it is. So it's a 6-inch square card. So I need paper, which is 8.5. I'm looking at 9.5 and saying 8.5. It's 9.5 inches square, and we're going to do the first score line at 4 3/4. So let's cut the paper. So I'm going to use this one. I love this. It's really deep, vibrant colours and really cool pattern on the back. So 9.5 inches square. So 9.5 that way, and 9.5 that way, And then let's bring in the envelope punch board. Now, the way the board is designed is you measure once, so you do your first measurement and then you just follow the score lines. So let's just double check, that's 4 3/4. So pop that there, punch, use the scoring blade and just run it down. And then this score line here, you're going to line up with this little beaky bit here. It looks like a bird's beak. And you're going to line it up, punch it and score. Line it up, punch it, score. Line it up, punch it, score. So quick and simple. And then if you turn it around, you have got a corner rounder here, which I'm just going to use on these edges of the envelope, and look, gives a brilliant corner, rounded edge. And you'll see on the second video, I'm making a gift bag. And the one that I'm actually showing you doesn't have rounded corners, but you can absolutely round the corners. So do bear in mind that you can use the envelope punch board to round corners on anything. Right, so let's just fold on these score lines or burnish them with the bone folder. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to recommend that you don't glue this yet. Basically because you want to know how big your card is going to be, because it can get a little bit bulky. So if I show you with this one, if I glue the flaps down like this and make it quite flat, it might struggle to get in. So it's much more important that you put your card in and then stick these pieces down. And then stick these pieces down. So I'm going to pretend this is the card that I've made. So you can see what I'm going to do. So I put a tiny dot of glue there and just hold it. So you don't ever want an envelope to be too tight. You don't want to knock the embellishments off or anything like that. So what you just want to do is to make sure it's snug so the card's not rattling around, but you don't want it too tight either. There we go. And then, just run a little bit of Tombow along there and then pop that down. So we'll just give that a rub. There we go. Okay, so that is the envelope made there, but you're not going to be able to write on that. You could, I suppose, if you've got a silver pen, but generally you're not going to be able to write on that. So what I'm going to do is get some white cardstock, and I'm going to get a 4-inch square. So I'll just get a piece of Night of Navy cardstock as well. And I'm going to cut that at 4.5 inches square. So it's going to give me a 1/4 inch border. So that's going to go on there like so. What I'm going to do, on the original one, I put some punched out flowers, but actually what I'm going to do this time is stamp some flowers from the cupcake set. So this is the Hello Cupcake Celebration stamp set, which is free with a qualifying order. It's a photopolymer set, so make sure you're using your stamping mat. I'm hoping this is going to be an odd number. 2, 4, 6, yeah, 7. Stamping always looks better if it's odd numbers. So let's pop that down. And then put that on the front. And then you've just got somewhere to write on to send, if you're going to send it in the post or even if you're just going to hand deliver it. Okay, so that's one envelope. Here's the original envelope. So that is how you're going to be able to send your card. So now let's start making the mechanism of this card. So I'm going to be using Night of Navy cardstock, and we're going to need 4 pieces of cardstock that are 6 inches by 3 inches. So cut that at 6. So that's 1 at 3 inches, 2, 3, and then let's cut that at 6, and then 1 more at 3. Okay, so you've got these 4 pieces, and what we're going to do is we are going to score it at 1.5 and 4.5 inches. So scoring it at 1.5 and then at 4.5. And you're going to do that the same on all 4 sides. Oh, sorry, all 4 pieces. 1.5 and 4.5. And you would think, wouldn't you, that such a complicated card would need more than 4 bits of cardstock, but it doesn't. But just you wait until I tell you how many pieces of patterned paper you're going to have to cut. But it's worth it, honestly, it's worth it. So let's go there. Okay. So make sure that you spend a minute going over all of these score lines with your bone folder, and you want to fold them both ways, because when the card actually moves, these pieces will move both ways. So make sure that you reinforce them both ways. Spending time now will give you a much better result later. Okay, so if you look at this front section here, these 2 pieces are like this, which means that the reverse 2 pieces, the back 2 pieces, start out life like this. So I'm really hoping that the camera is going to be able to pick this up. So you've got 2 pieces, and you've got the 1.5 inch piece, the 3 inch piece, and the 1.5 inch piece. And I am butting them up together so that the score lines are running parallel, and these edges here are butted up together. And then these 2 pieces are going the opposite way. So you've got the skinny bit top and bottom, and you're going to put them over the top, like so. Okay. Now, if I fold this piece back, can you see you've got 2 squares? And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a pen here and this square here is where you're going to put glue. And on this piece, this square here is where you're going to put glue. And then on this is where you're going to put glue. And on this piece, this corner is where you're going to put glue. So if I just lift that off, you'll be able to see that glue is going in the 4 extreme corners on the bottom piece. So I'm going to put that back, because this is the gluing bit now. I'll put that one back as well. And just spend a moment or two just making sure that everything is lined up. You can perhaps put, you know, like an ink pad, look. Ooh, try not to put my head in the shot, but equally I'm trying to make sure that I can see what I'm doing and you can see what I'm doing. So, you know, pin things down with an ink pad. Move that in just a touch. Okay, so I am going to put glue around the outside edge and like that. On there. Press it down a second. Make sure that my base is all lined up as well. Just move that over a tiny bit. That's all lined up. So lift that piece up. And I am going to put the glue there. And then move the ink pad there. Again, just double check that it's square. You can see just there it's not quite. I'm just going to move that over slightly. And then put the glue on that piece. And you may have to do a tiny bit of fine-tuned trimming a bit later on. I'll show you how to do that as well. And then fold that piece over and pop that down. Okay. Right, so you do need to give this a minute or two for the Tombow to catch hold. So whilst that is just sitting there and gluing, I am going to tell you all about the pieces of patterned paper that you are going to need to cut. So you are going to need 24 pieces of patterned paper, and you're going to cut them in sets of 8. So the first set is 2 3/4 inch squares, and you're going to need 8 of them. Now I recommend that you use a pattern that doesn't necessarily have a right way or a wrong way, which is why these flowers are so pretty. So I am going to use this pattern again, which is what I used last time because it worked really well. So we want 8 pieces. So I'm going to cut a couple of 2 3/4 inch strips. And then so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, obviously we're going to be using both sides of this, so you're not just going to be seeing one pattern on all of them. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, so that is my 8 2 3/4 inch pieces. We're then going to need 8 2 3/4 inches by 1 1/4. So this time Tricky. Let's have a look. Let's use this one. So I'm going to make sure that I can use the patterns. So it's 1 1/4 by 2 3/4. So you're going to need 2 long strips. Yeah, that's going to look really nice. So these strips. So I've done it so that I know that I can have these little scalloped edges, or obviously I can have those colours as well. And you'll play around with it as you're sticking them down. So that's 4. Let's go again. And this is a great way of showcasing all the different patterns of the patterned paper, the different sides, because I always think it's a shame you have beautifully patterned papers and you only ever get to see one side. Right, so that's those, and then we have 8 1 1/4 inch squares. So I think I'm going to use this one for that. So 1 1/4 inches. So these are quite small when you're cutting, so just make sure that you always butt your paper right up against the edge, particularly with these little small pieces. It's quite easy for it to go a bit wonky. 1 1/4. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one. Ooh. There we go. 8. Okay, so that's all my patterned paper, so I can put the trimmer away for now. Let's bring back in our glued card template. So it's going to open like this, and then like this, and then like this. Right, so can you see that's just dragging just there? So that's that edge. So what I'm going to do is get my scissors and just cut a sliver off there. And it is a tiny amount, but it will mean that the card will open better. And there, that's catching too. So that is that edge. So there are often slight minor adjustments. Whenever you're cutting cardstock and paper, obviously you can be a tiny little bit out. And then you just want this to open up easy. Ooh, there we go, that's much better. Okay, right, so I am going to work with mine the same way as I did before. So this is going to be the front, and I am going to put these patterns of paper on here. So what you're going to do is systematically go through and put the patterned paper on, and I really need you to follow the order in which I'm doing it, because depending on where you are in the folds of the cards, sometimes you will think that you're going to be sticking down a small square, but actually what you need is one of these longer pieces. So I will show you in a moment what I mean by that. So let's just put these on first. So these are the 2 3/4 inch by 1 1/4. So that's the same there. Like that. one's going there. And that one's going there. Okay. So that's your first set of layers. Then we're going to open this up, and this time we have got these pieces, and we're going to put these vibrant green pieces in as well, or these. Oh no, I think we'll go with these actually. Okay, you have so much fun, and the brilliant thing about Stampin' Up! Designer series paper is that everything coordinates so beautifully together. So all of the colours are going to work, and the colours within the patterned papers all work as well. So let's pop these down. This one. Okay, so that's the next piece. Then we're going to fold it again. So at this point, and this is why I'm saying don't jump in too quickly. So it's quite clear that these two pieces are squares. But if we open up this next piece, it actually looks like that is one of the skinny pieces, but I've used them all, so it can't be. It's actually another square, but these are the smaller squares. So what will happen is we've got squares on the top and squares underneath. So let's put these squares on the top first. And we'll put the corner pieces in because we know that that's the only shape it can be, because they're the only ones left. I love this sort of leaf pattern, it's really pretty. One more. Oh. One more. Okay, so now I'm going to open this up. Again, I'm going to use the ink pad there to pin that down. So here are the last two squares, and then these last, the smaller squares. So if you just take your time as you're sticking things down, you won't mess it up. But that said, if you do, just cut another piece of paper, it's fine. There's lots of paper in a pack, so it'll be okay. Pop that one down there. On there, and one more, and then that is all of the card sort of components, if you like, all done. So let's open it out. Let's get back to the beginning. Where was the beginning? Not that. Ooh, that was the beginning. I've forgotten which pattern we'd put on. So this is the beginning. And then we've got this pattern and then this pattern. And so can you see now how that's sort of showcasing through there? That's really cool. And then opening it out and opening it out. Okay, so let's just go back to where we started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out this original one and show you how I've made each of the embellishments. The most important thing that you need to know is use glue dots or Tombow to stick things down. You want the minimum amount of dimension. So do not use dimensionals on this card because they'll catch. It won't work. I have used some of these fantastic enamel dots, but I've stuck everything flat. So the first thing I'm going to show you is obviously these flowers are on the reverse, so it's this pattern. So these flowers here, let me just move this one out of the way. These flowers here are basically cut out, and then I have put one of the enamel dots on. This Celebrate is really cute, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So in the stamp set you've got Celebrate Your Day, which I have used, but I just wanted a single word for the front of the card. So I have masked that, and what I've done is, if I just cut a strip of paper, I can show you. And I think it is 1/2 inch. No, try that. 3/4 inch. So yes, 3/4 inch strip. And I have got the stamp. Put it on a block. And then I've got some sellotape. And I have put the sellotape over the words that I don't want to show. So I don't want the Your Day, I just want the Celebrate. And then what I'm going to do is get my Call Me Clover ink, and I'm going to ink up the stamp. So if I show you this way, you'll be able to see better. Let me get my mat, because otherwise that's not going to stamp very well. So the ink has gone on to the sellotape, but not onto the words that I don't want it to. So now I can stamp just the word Celebrate, ta-da, and it's not going to show. Now, to make the flag ends, you can cut with a pair of scissors. That's really straightforward, but I always find that it's never even. So I always use the triple banner punch now, and I work with it upside down so that I can make sure when I'm punching that I'm not actually punching the words. And so I'm just going to put that in. Ooh, there we go. Maybe a tiny bit more, and it just means it's always even. And so this is a 3/4 inch strip, and then well, this one's a 3/4 inch strip, and then you'd put a 1 inch strip, or this one's actually 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch there. So that's those two embellishments. Let's come on to these ones. These are very cool. So this one, I have used the flower punches. Now let's just admire the flower punches just for a minute because they are brilliant. So you can get them bundled with a stamp set, and there are flowers that match. But what Stampin' Up have done is designed these to match the designer series paper as well. So you'll be able to see quite quickly and clearly that this one is designed to match that one. And that flower is in multiple places. So it's here, you've got it in green and coral and navy there as well. So that's the spiky flower. You've then got this one, which is the flower that I've used here for that embellishment, and I've got to find that now. Okay, so what I did for that flower is I used this patterned paper and I punched it out of this bigger flower here. So let me, if I put that on navy card, you'll be able to see that, and hopefully you'll be able to see the flower. So obviously you can punch out different areas of the paper and get different looks. This flower is a little bit more tricky because of the shape of it. It's not symmetrical. So you need to just spend a little bit of time lining it up, and it's actually this beautiful flower here. You need to spend a little bit more time lining it up, and this one. So it's this flower and this flower. But when you see my project 2, which is a gift bag, I've got a little sneaky tip for you there of how you can line it up each time. So make sure you pop back for that. But that is designed to punch that one out. And then this final one here, this is a flower inner and obviously a little leaf. Okay, so looking at this, I have extended this punch. I will put the name of this punch on on the screen. I am sure, no, I'm not sure. I want to say no. I'm not even going to guess because I'm going to get it wrong. And I'm sure everyone's shouting at the screen now, Amanda, it's such and such. And I don't know. I don't know what it's called. So, all I've done with this is I have stamped and punched out that, and then I have stamped, I've punched out this piece, another one, and I've just cut it into 3 pieces. I don't need the middle piece, I just need these 2 pieces. And all I've done is put a little bit of glue on the back here, and then just popped that there. So I've just extended it a little bit. And obviously you can do this with foil papers or glitter papers or all sorts, and it just gives it a little bit of pop. So that's how you make that one. I'm just going to show you how to do the stamping of this, but I've fussy cut, and that's just 2 circle punches. So that's really straightforward. But let me show you the stamping of this cupcake because it's so cool. I just love this little sketched image. So that's in Night of Navy, and then I've lost that, and then you've got 2. Where's the stamp box gone? Right, okay. So you've got 2 frosting pieces. So you've got this piece, which lines up with these zigzags. And then you've got this second frosting piece, which lines up along there. And basically Stampin' Up have designed that so that you can cut that out and 3D it. So put some dimensional pads on it and lift it up. I haven't done that on this because, like I said to you before, I want to make sure that everything's flat. So you want to line up. This is always tricky to line up when I'm on camera without getting my head in the shot. There we go. And then this piece lines up like so. And then you've got the little, we call them hundreds and thousands, but they're sprinkles. I bet this is one of those things that in the US and in Australia they're called different things. We call them hundreds, like I said, we call them hundreds and thousands or sprinkles. So basically that is that image there. You're just going to fussy cut that out. Let's move on to the next embellishment. I've got a little bit of glue there. I will get my glue eraser on that in a second. So here, these are flowers that have been punched out. So these are these flowers here with the enamel dots. I've cut a small piece of cardstock that is, let me measure it for you, 2 inches by 1.25 inches, and then 1/4 inch larger for this piece, and then this will be a 2.5 inch, 2.25 inch square, and they're embellished. And then here I've just got punched out flowers from some Calypso Coral cardstock. So let me just show you all of the embellishments again, and then if you have any questions, then do let me know. If you're on Facebook in the Facebook group, do just put a comment below the video, or you can email me, amanda@inspiringinkin.com, and obviously I will answer all of your questions if something isn't clear. So it's when you have finished your card, make sure that you put it in the right way when you're putting it into the envelope, so that people open it the way you intend it to open. Because, for instance, if I move this around, so you can actually fold it like this. So the Celebrate was on this side, it's now here. And if I open that, that works, that all works. But when we get to the cupcake's upside down. Okay, so it's back onto the right side now. So then the cupcake is in the right place. So just double check as you're putting it into your envelope that it's all in the right way round. But I hope you have enjoyed making this never-ending card with me today. Using these fabulous Happiness Blooms product suite. It's brilliant. The stamp set that coordinates with it is fabulous, and you are going to have so much fun with these new projects. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.